Hello, I'm immigration attorney Yasin Akalan. The video we posted last week received an incredible response and we got so many questions that we thought, alright, this isn't over. We definitely need a follow-up video. The US immigration world is absolutely shaking right now and things are changing so fast that even we are struggling to keep up. Back in the day, we'd spend hours thinking what topic should we cover, how do we make it interesting, but now there's so much happening that we can't even keep up with it. The situation is so intense that for the past 2 weeks, we've been joining weekly Friday seminars at AILA with other immigration attorneys. Over 1,000 immigration lawyers joined to that meeting on Zoom. And you know what? Questions are asked, but the answers are almost always the same. We'll see what happens in the court. We'll fight for this. It's something we'll monitor. In short, no clear answers from anyone. But we're not giving up. We are committed to sharing information and continuing the fight. Also during the seminar, we were informed that as of January 31st, there have been 89 new policy changes, policy actions. Yeah, you heard that right. 89 changes. That also shows how rapidly immigration is evolving right now. Here's another major update. I personally know of 3 experienced and good judges in New York who left their positions. Were they fired? Did they resign? We don't know. We're not entirely sure yet. On top of that, the Trump administration is reportedly offering federal employees a severance package equal to 7 months' salary if they resign by February 6th. This seems to be a part of broader effort to restructure the government. And finally, let's talk about Tom Homan, Trump's so-called border czar. He is the former director of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and is known for his tough stance on immigration policies. Recently, he expressed frustration over the lower than expected number of arrests, saying immigrants know their rights better than the ICE agents do. This just shows how powerful it is to know your rights. Being informed isn't just important, it's a tool for protection. Now, we're going to break this YouTube video into segments. I'll cover some of the updates and some will be presented by one of our attorneys, Emre Enay. Together, we'll dive into all latest developments. Let's get started. The Trump administration has set a new detention quota for ICE between 1,200 to 1,500 undocumented immigrants per day. Yes, you heard that right. This is an actual quota. So, where do things stand right now? In the first few days after Trump took office, daily arrests were between 200 and 500, even lower than the average during Biden's term. But in the past few days, the numbers have shot up to 900, 1,000 arrests per day. And here's the kicker. Even during Trump's first term, these numbers were never this high. Let's do some quick math. Trump was elected on the promise of deporting 11 million undocumented immigrants. Even if ICE manages to hit the 1,500 daily target consistently, that would total around 2.2 million people in 4 years, far from the promised 11 million. Now, is this 1,200, 1,500 goal realistic? Honestly, I don't think so. ICE doesn't have enough detention facilities or beds to hold that many people. And there's the budget problem. According to an NBC report, each detention bed costs around $57,000 per year, including food and other expenses. Where is this money coming from? Weren't we supposed to be cutting budgets and reducing taxes? After setting a daily arrest quota of 1,200 to 1,500 undocumented immigrants, the Trump administration is now floating another wild idea, using Guantanamo Bay for migrants. Yes, you heard that right. That Guantanamo Bay in Cuba, the notorious detention center known for holding terrorism suspects and infamous for torture scandals. Trump's border czar Tom Homan publicly admitted that ICE doesn't have enough detention capacity. And what's Trump's response? Well, there are 30,000 beds at Guantanamo. Let's use them. According to Homan, the plan is to send the worst of the worst undocumented immigrants there. But what exactly qualifies as the worst of the worst? That's still very unclear. And remember, Guantanamo isn't just any detention facility. Legal experts are questioning whether courts will even allow it to be used this way. There are some serious legal concerns about the legitimacy of such a plan. Bottom line, both ICE and President Trump know there is not enough space, so now they're resorting to extreme measures, hoping something will stick. Trump has signed the Laken-Riley Act and it's now officially in effect. This law brings major changes for undocumented immigrants. But who was Laken-Riley? She was a young student at the University of Georgia who tragically lost her life, and the suspect was an undocumented immigrant, and this incident triggered strict shifts in immigration policies. So what's new? Now, even if you're just accused of crimes like theft, burglary, assaulting a police officer, shoplifting, or causing serious harm to someone, you can face mandatory detention. Yes, you heard that right. Just being accused is enough. No need to wait for a conviction. Immigration authorities can detain you while your criminal case is pending. This law may not directly target people without a criminal record, but it significantly increases the risk of detention. Even minor accusations or misunderstandings can have serious consequences. As always, don't panic, but be prepared, know your rights. Is the US-Mexico border completely closed? Not exactly, but crossing the border to seek asylum has become nearly impossible. The CBP One app? Gone. You can no longer schedule appointments to enter the US easily. The Remain in Mexico policy, also known as MPP, is back. Asylum seekers now have to wait in Mexico instead of the US while their cases are being processed. More troops have been deployed to the border, and the Pentagon has been given extra responsibilities, turning the border into a near military zone. Parole programs canceled. Humanitarian entry options that once existed for certain countries are no longer available. And the detention centers, their capacity is being expanded. This means if you cross the border, you could be quickly detained and held in a camp until your deportation. In short, the border isn't technically closed, but crossing the border is now much harder, riskier, and filled with uncertainty.
Are there any changes in family reunification, investor visas, or tourist applications? As of the time I'm recording this video, we haven't identified any major changes. However, Trump signed a new executive order on January 20, 2025, tightening security screenings for US visa applications. Under this new policy, security checks will be more detailed. Especially applications from certain countries may face extra scrutiny. Consulates and immigration offices might request more documents and information when reviewing applications. In short, the processes are still ongoing, but security screenings could become tougher. Make sure your application is complete and accurate. It's more important than ever. The Trump administration has just announced two major decisions: TPS, or Temporary Protected Status, and PD, prosecutorial discretions, have been cancelled. But what does this mean? PD, or prosecutorial discretion, allowed prosecutors to decide not to pursue, freeze, or dismiss deportation cases. Now that authority is gone, this means that many people facing deportation cases have only one option: win their case. Whether your case is strong or weak, it's now all or nothing. Either you win or face deportation. TPS, or Temporary Protected Status, gave legal stay rights in the United States to people who couldn't return to their home countries due to war, natural disasters, or similar crises. It was extended for Venezuelans under Biden, but Trump has now revoked this protection. This puts thousands of people at risk of deportation. These decisions make life even harder for immigrants. If you're staying in the United States relying on TPS or PD, it's urgent that you consult an immigration attorney. The USCIS made significant updates to the O1 visa rules on January 8, 2025. As you may know from my previous videos, the O1 visa is for individuals with extraordinary abilities in arts, sciences, sports, or business. So, what do these updates mean for you? Until now, you couldn't apply for an O1 visa on your own. You needed a US employer to sponsor you. But here's the big news. USCIS has clarified that you don't need an external employer anymore. You can apply through your own company. This is a game changer, especially for entrepreneurs. And there's more. If you work in tech fields like artificial intelligence or innovation, your application will now be reviewed with greater flexibility. USCIS has introduced special considerations for these industries.
That's it for today. As you can see, the immigration landscape never slows down, and neither do we. In this video, both I and one of our attorneys, Emre, aim to bring you the most up-to-date information. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to stay informed. Drop your questions in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them all. See you in the next video. Take care.